So Rick, could you explain how the CMMC assessments will be conducted and what contractors should expect during the assessment process?
Sure, good question. A lot of this is still in process and not finalized. We mentioned how that the C3PAOs are working with the DIBCAT in this interim voluntary assessment process. But what we do know is that for this assessment process, a person needs to identify or get on a list for an assessment, identify a C3PAO when CMMC becomes a real thing, get on that schedule. There is then kind of a readiness review, if you will, where the lead assessor will look at your information to determine whether or not you're ready for the assessment. So it's kind of a prelude to the actual assessment. Then the assessment is made up of a team. Unlike maybe an ISO audit where you have one auditor, here you'll have a team of assessors, one of which would be the lead assessor, who actually controls the flow of the process and makes a lot of the determinations in conjunction with the team whether or not you are meeting that particular practice or not. We already mentioned how that this assessment process breaks down the 110 into additional categories, another 320 categories, and they're going to be looking at each one of these to verify that you are meeting that particular practice. There's three ways they can look at it. They can look at it through what you would call an interview process and an examining process, or some kind of a testing type process to validate that, yes, I'm meeting these particular controls. So once all that is done, they'll put together a finding, and then this is the high level response to that. Then they'll put that together and it will be submitted for approval process. So some of this is being worked out. We do know that it's following the NIST 800-171A process, the process that the DIBCAT's using today. So it's going to be much like that, similar to that. That's what they're training against there. It's important to note that they're expecting you for a level 2 to have all the controls in place. They've talked about, I don't know if they've finalized quite yet, there are going to be allowed, what do I say, temporary POAM items under certain conditions, but then you have a time frame that you have to put them in place, like maybe something like 120 days, that you have to have all those very minor items put in place, or you could lose that level 2 certification process. So those are some of the things they're still working on, some of this information. It may change, it may stay the same. There also is that level 1. We didn't talk too much about that. The level 1 does not require a third-party assessment or certification. It is a subset of the 110. There's 17 controls there, and that is a self-assessment. That is around the FCI, the Federal Contracting Information. It's not the CUI. So if you're only handling contract information, you would be possibly looking at that level 1 certification. And once again, that would be a self-assessment, not a third party. The level 3 assessment process, from the last I heard, is going to be only done by the DIBCAT. That's the highest level in this CMMC process. Level 2 would be done by the C3POs. And then once again, level 1 would be a self-assessment. So that's kind of the assessment process as we know it today. Subject to change.
Thank you for watching this video to the end. This is part of a longer series on DFARS, NIST, and CMMC compliance produced by Core Business Solutions. Please subscribe to this channel Like this video with a thumbs up and click the bell to get notified when we drop a new video. Also, we'd appreciate it if you would share this video with your colleagues who need to stay up to speed on DFARS, NIST, and CMMC. Thank you, and we'll see you again in the next video.